Okay, I believe this is our final presenter, and it is Torrey Stephenson from the University of Idaho.
From the year 1900 to today, our global population has increased from 1.6 billion to nearly 8 billion people. By 2050, it's projected to near 10 billion, and the lives of every one of those people will rely on the food, fuel, and fibers grown by agricultural producers. Now, already increased demand for agricultural products has resulted in the intensification of practices that degrade the health of our soil, its ability to recover from disturbance, and to be productive both now and well into the future. Supporting this growing population is going to require identifying diverse growing practices that support rather than degrade our soils. So for this reason, my research is looking at one such practice, which may have influences on soil health in two key areas: nitrogen use and soil microbial communities. What we're doing is growing a type of crop called pulses in alternate rows with barley in a practice called intercropping. Now, pulse crops are special because they can obtain nitrogen from the air. This is a huge deal. Nitrogen is the key component in chemical fertilizer. And when we add more fertilizer to our soils, we can grow more crops per acre. But it's a delicate balancing act. Now, for one thing, fertilizer is expensive. And when we apply it all at once, it can be difficult for plants to take up the nitrogen they need before it's lost from the soil, either washed out into our waterways as pollutants or converted to harmful greenhouse gases. So adding nitrogen in excess of what our plants can take up is a waste of a resource with negative environmental consequences. Now here's where the pulse crops come in. Because they can obtain their own nitrogen, they may give us a better chance of having the right amount of it in the soil at the right time for the plants. And this has the potential to decrease our fertilizer demand and also waste. And in fact, what we're seeing with intercropping is that the nitrogen in the soil is used up more completely, meaning there's less left over at the end of the growing season to have those negative environmental consequences. So this is great news. But what we need to remember is that soil isn't dirt. It's a living thing. Soil is full of microbes, and those microbes do things like provide nutrients to plants, protect them from disease, and maintain the stability of our ecosystems. When our soils face a disturbance, like an extreme weather event due to climate change, not all of those microbes will be affected in the same way. A more diverse microbial community is going to be better able to recover from that disturbance and to keep functioning. It's healthier. And what we are seeing is that intercropping supports not only a more diverse, but also a more abundant soil microbial community than growing barley alone. So that's also great news. Now, taken together, these results suggest that intercropping may be a promising strategy for promoting our soil's health. And the impacts of this work are important not only for producers, but for those of us who rely on them every day for the food we eat. All of us.
Thank you, Torrey. This is something I actually know a little bit about, so I have some specific questions.
All right.
I'm a farm girl, but my dad has, goes from crop to crop. They'll switch in the same acreage from year to year, but what you're suggesting is you do a row of lentils and then a row of wheat, and then in the same year, all in the same crop, which is definitely different. That's fascinating. What brought you to this idea?
Well, primarily, I was fortunate enough to end up in a lab in undergrad that was looking at soil health and nitrogen cycling, and I just became fascinated with it. So when I heard that Dr. Kaler at UI was doing a project looking at nitrogen cycling, specifically with intercropping and growing different crops, I thought, that sounds like the project for me, and ended up here, and I'm having a nice time.
And your major is?
I'm actually an environmental science student, but I work primarily in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Okay, so Dean Perella, you got another one up here. Is he here still, or did he have to leave? He might have had to leave. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.